The Battlefield 6 concurrent player count has dropped to an all-time low, and the community is starting to eat itself alive. And in this video, I just want to talk about why there is merit to this conversation, but at the same time, talk about why in the scheme of things, it may not mean exactly what we think it does. My name's Tofrleon. Let's jump into it. First and foremost, seeing 62,000 players on Battlefield 6 2, even though it's just on Steam, it's still a little jarring, right? Like, this game had 715,000 players at launch. It's been seemingly just exploding everywhere on all social media platforms. Clips. It's been awesome. And for the first 2 months, it has seemingly withstood pretty much the onslaught of Black Ops. You've had Arc Raiders come out, and it still did pretty well, but something in the last week or two,
there's no going back. You've changed things.
And I know this is going to upset a lot of you here, but it's Fortnite.
He's right, you know.
I'm not kidding. It's Fortnite. Now, and I know it's not just Fortnite, but I know so many creators, so many just casual players, so many competitive players who have been playing Battlefield, who've been playing Arc Raiders, who are now back on Fortnite because of a new chapter. And this also has a good and a bad. The good being that after they're done checking out the new chapter in Fortnite, they'll come back. But the bad being that they didn't do enough to keep the players from leaving to begin with. There's also the fact that every single conquest game, every escalation game, whatever mode you have, it feels like a majority of those games are super lopsided. And I understand them increasing the ticket sizes. I guess that was maybe supposed to give more of a chance, more time for the people to come back, because, you know, those huge comebacks do tend to happen, and those are super epic. We all love coming back 400 to 700. But at the same time, I feel like there's so many 800 to 0 losses than there are anything else, and it's just nobody has fun playing a game when the time they're playing doesn't really matter towards the bigger picture. I think I speak for most gamers when I say that when they're in a game that is no longer competitive, their desire to actually lock in goes down, and they just don't really care about what's happening. Now imagine that happening for 80% of the time you're playing a game. It's just you're eventually going to stop. And there's a very simple solution for that. You just give the losing team some special mechanic like Battlefield 1 did, where you brought in the blimp or the train. And it felt like most of those games, it felt like 3 out of 4 games back then were competitive, and it was always because you got that helping hand at the end that helped balance it out. Why is that mechanic not in the game right now? It's one of the greatest mechanics ever added into a multiplayer game, and they forgot to bring it back. I mean, I know, let's bring it back. Come on, DICE, let's go. Let's get it in the game. Which brings me to my next point, which is the actual gradual decline we have been seeing. There's been no major dumps, not at least since the past couple of days, but it's just been a nice gradual, slow decrease over time, and it seemed fairly normal, right? But what I do find to be alarming about that trend is that it seems like it's representing a slowly growing population of players who just hit a wall where they're just like, hey, I'm done. I'm bored, or I'm sick of this, or there's just nothing new for me. And it is something I've referenced in my other videos on stream, where it feels like this game's first 2 downloadable content packs, they didn't really hit. The Blackwell Fields, it's just not good. And Eastwood is cool. It's got a great vibe to it, but there's something about it that doesn't feel like it's that replayable like we have all these other maps that we've loved over time. Which brings us right to our next point, in that RedSec isn't quite hitting like we were hoping it would have. Again, it's just not quite on the scale we had quite imagined. And I think the combination of the map size with the amount of players with just some other varying mechanics, it's not the most fun game. Like, I love the idea of it, I love playing it, but again, every time I load it and play, I end up quitting out just so infuriated because I keep getting shot in the back or third party. I think a major issue you're seeing with a lot of battle royales right now, including Fortnite, you saw with the Simpsons season, included with this chapter 7, the maps are smaller, which means people are gonna be on top of you much sooner, which means the casual players, the players that are talking, having a good time between fights, they're gonna get decimated because there's no time between fights anymore. As soon as you start shooting, someone's going to be on top of you in a second, whether it's in a vehicle, whether it's some type of mobility, you're done for. You're going to get preyed upon. And I think therein lies the problem. The map in Battlefield just isn't big enough.
That's what she said.
There's so much more to do in Battlefield really than just shoot guns at each other, but we're not getting the chance to go and do them. Does that make sense? Do you get it? There are so many facets and mechanics of the game we want to access, but we don't live long enough to get to them. So with that, I think an obvious solution would just be lower the amount of players on the map, or give us a new map sooner than later, which is a lot bigger and gives us that Battlefield experience we're all looking for. Again, what I thought we were getting with RedSec was going to be just like 150, just massive player teams, just explosions, buildings collapsing everywhere, and it's not really like that. Now, quick side note, I wanted to laugh for a second at the fact that this whole conversation about using Steam numbers to just represent the concurrent player base for a game, it has now come full circle with the Black Ops community versus the Battlefield community talking about, hey, there's more players on different platforms, then you can't really use that as a way of measuring. It's gone back and forth, and now both sides look like hypocrites, and it's kind of funny. But I am going to keep it real with you, because I know a lot of you watching are probably saying, well, they don't matter, it is just one facet, one medium. But hear me out here, it's all relative, and they all represent a pattern. And if you think Steam numbers are plummeting but Xbox and PlayStation 5 numbers are skyrocketing, that's just not the case. If you're seeing over an 80% drop on Steam, you're probably seeing at least a 50% drop. If you know statistics and how that all works. I mean, at maximum, okay, you might be seeing a little increase on those, but it's still not going to counterbalance the fact that so many hundreds of thousands of players are not playing on Steam. I will say, however, it's very funny that the Call of Duty community is using this 62,000 player reference as a reason to make fun of the Battlefield community, considering Black Ops 7 got 69,000 on their opening day. Just come on now. Come on now. Don't do this. Don't do this. For my concluding thoughts, I generally do feel there will be a bounce back. I think Fortnite is playing a big role in this. Arc Raiders is obviously it's having its moment, and Battlefield is a little stale. In 2 months, 60 days is a good bit of time for players that kind of feel a little saturated, a little bit like I'm a little bored. And also the fact that it is the end of the semester, the end of the year for a lot of people. Both kids and adults are taking care of a lot of things so they can relax for the holidays. And I think a really good way to measure how good this game is doing is to see how well it does over the holidays, how well it sells, how many concurrent players get on, and then of course, you know, how it goes into the new year. Is there reason to be concerned to see it drop this much? Absolutely. But is it going to last and stay this low? Definitely not. There's going to be new content on the way. The directors at the studios are going to see this, and they're going to start doing things, obviously start mixing it up, because when they see this, they're going to respond, and then we'll respond. All right, that's enough yapping for today. Let me know in the comments why you have or haven't been playing Battlefield, what your thoughts are on RedSec, and as always, go out there and do something great. But before then, maybe watch this video on why Dutch and his gang, the Vanderlyn gang versus Grove Street, would be an incredible battle to see and who would win. It's a pretty good video.